Okay, so what we're going to look at here is we're going to start to look at the major and minor scales. Major is a very happy sounding scale, sounds like this. And then you have minor, which is a very sad sounding scale and sounds like this. So first of all, you might think, well, how do we know what notes to play in that situation? So what we've got here, and you'll be able to get this online, is called a circle of fifths. Now the circle of fifths is basically the key to all music. It lets us know how many sharps or flats, that's kind of like the black notes, are in a certain key, and it opens up these doors and we can work our way around this circle and figure out all these different majors, minor scales, and it can go on to learn so many more scales, and it can even introduce us to things, chords, seventh chords, and so on and so forth, and stuff like that. So the first one we're going to look at is the first little section at the top of the circle of fifths. We've got a C and an A minor. Now we notice with that it's got no sharps or flats in that key, which on the piano is brilliant. It means it's just going to be all the white notes. So we'll have a look at that one first, and then we'll come back to the circle of fifths in a second. So, the major scale. So a scale is a collection of certain notes within an octave. The first scale that we will discuss is the major scale. The major scale, or the Ionian mode, don't worry too much about that just yet, has 7 notes and is built using the formula below. The T's represent tone steps and the S's represent semitone steps. Using this formula we can build any major scale. So what we've got there is a tone is basically when we've got a note in between the 2 notes. So that's how we know to move. So when we're going from a C major scale, we're going to go from C to D. So we've got this C sharp in the middle, so that's a tone step. But for example, in this scale, we need to go from E to F. Now that's a semitone step, because there's no note in between. A way to recognise a semitone is the whole jaws. You get this whole jaws feel with the semitones, even wherever you go on the piano. So that's how you recognise a semitone, because it's the jaws theme. So what we're going to do is look at the notation and how to play the fingers for a C major scale. Now for most of these scales to start off with, the ones you'll start learning, like C major, G major, D major, A minor, E minor, B minor, they have a very similar pattern. You've just got to remember what sharps and flats to put in. So what we're going to do with a C major scale is we're going to take our thumb, and just like we have done before, we're just going to give every finger a note. So starting on middle C, we're going to put our thumb on middle C, and every finger has a note. Just remember the shape of the hand as well. Keep that hook in there, like you're holding the mouse or the ball. And we're going to start with C major. So the way we do this is we play 3 fingers, and all the fingerings on the sheet you'll be able to get online. You do 3 fingers, and then what happens is the thumb sneaks underneath that hand, and it goes onto the F. And then what we've got is all 5 fingers all the way up. And that completes the scale. So then when we go back down, we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We throw our 3rd finger over, 3, 2, 1. So do that one more time. We go 1, 2, 3 with fingers. 1, 2, 3. Thumb comes underneath to the F, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remember the thumb's number 1, so 1 or thumb. I'll do that one more time. So when 1, 2, 3, thumb underneath, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off there. One thing when we put the thumb underneath is, if you actually watch, the thumb can easily sneak under that hand. Yeah, the thumb moves in that way. It's quite clever. So what we don't want is this elbow going up like this, okay? Happens so many times, and it can happen with the left hand as well. You can end up putting this elbow up here when we try and put that hand underneath. The thumb can easily slide underneath without us moving our elbow. Okay? So remember, don't throw these arms up like this. So, one more time. With a C major, with the right hand, we go C, D, E, thumb goes underneath, F, G, A, B, C. Then on the way back down, C, B, A, G, F, thumb, 3rd finger over, sorry, E, D, C. So we're doing the 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3, thumb underneath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the way back down, 5 fingers, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, third finger over, 3, 2, 1. And that's the C major scale with the right hand. Now with the left hand, it's literally just like putting a mirror in there. So just stick a mirror in there, and we're doing exactly the same kind of way. So we're going to go 1, 2, so we're going to go down this way. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, so starting C, B, C, B, then A. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, thumb goes underneath, we've got G, F, E, D, C. So exact same finger numbers for each hand. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, thumbs underneath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's exact same finger numbers, just go in the opposite directions. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the C major scale. So from that, what we can do is end up developing our scales and moving on to things like 2 octaves. So that's where we'd go from C to C and then up to another C. So that should sound like this. And you can do the same with left hand. Yeah? And then there's like things what you can do next is like put 2 hands together. And what this helps is it helps speed on the piano, it helps fingers, so we know where our fingers are going to sit. It helps the ear quite a lot as well. It really helps us realise what key things are in, and the key is basically what scale it's all revolved around. So what else we can do from the major scale is we can then move around in our circle of fifths. Now our next scale on the circle of fifths is G, G major, and it has 1 sharp. But you might be thinking, how do we know what that sharp is? But if you look at the bottom of the sheet, what we've got is the order of the sharps and flats. So it's just a little rhyme that we can remember. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. If you remember that little rhyme, it really helps with the order of the sharps. So as we move around the circle, we add 1 sharp. That's going to be father, so we add F sharp into there. As we go around once more to D, we're going to add 2 sharps, father, Charles, F and C. And it keeps going on, so as we go around to A, we're adding 3 sharps, father, Charles, goes, F, C and G sharp into there. And that's basically just using that sharp on the piano instead. You can also go the other way with it, and battle ends and down goes Charles's father. And that's the order of the flats as we go around this way. So I'm just going to show you G major now. G major has got 1 sharp, and the 1 sharp is F, because we go to our rhyme, 1 sharp, father, Charles, so father, that's the 1 sharp, and it's going to be F. So exactly the same system as we've used for C major. We're going to go G, so we're going to start with G this time, so our thumb's going to start on G, and just like before, every finger lines up. So we've all got a note. And it's exactly the same way, we're going to go G, A, B, so 1, 2, 3, and the thumb goes underneath, we've got C, D, E, and then this time we're replacing the F with an F sharp instead. That's just because our key signature tells us to, that we need to add that sharp. And also what you could do is you can follow the formula, the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone formula that we talked about before. G to A is a tone, A to B is a tone, B to C is a semitone. So when we get up to this E, we need to jump a tone up, and that's why we're using the F sharp and then the G. So, that scale again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Then we go back down, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. And that's using the same system as what we've done before. 3 fingers, thumb underneath, all 5 fingers up to the top. Just remembering where them accidentals are, them sharps and flats. And you can keep going round and round. You can do that with your left hand now. And it's just learning all these scales. So the idea is to work round here and learn all these major scales and minor scales as well as we go around. Once you start to learn all them, everything starts to come a lot more clear in music. The key things are in, chords, and it helps with writing melodies, improvising and all this kind of thing where we advance to later on. If you are unsure about the Father Charles Goes Down and Ends Battle kind of system, on the major scale sheet here I've actually written out all the scales with what accidentals are there, so you can try them out. And it is just trial and see how you get on with them all. And that's it for that.